Well, we've got a sickness going on trail right now that's taking a lot of hikers off trail. It's getting to be a mess out there, and it's only going to get worse from here. And it'll take you from looking like this to looking like this. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the norovirus. Let's get into what's going on out there and what you can do to prevent it from happening to you. So typically, I don't hear about the norovirus hitting this time of year, but I started hearing about it a couple weeks ago. Just a report here and there from a trail angel, somebody at a hiker feed, and then it escalated kind of up into ridge runners. Then I got the notice from a source of mine down at the Georgia Appalachian Trail Club. Not going to mention this person's name because they haven't given me permission to do so, but this person has always been a reliable source. And then I went to the CDC, and I also went and looked at what's going on. The ATC has put stuff out, and sure enough, it looks like we've got a cotton picking outbreak going on down in Georgia. Now, this is very, very unusual for the norovirus to hit this soon. But let's talk about what's going on, or what the norovirus is, and what you can expect. So the norovirus is a gastrointestinal bug. And so basically what that means is it's getting in your gut, getting in your stomach, getting in your intestines. And where does it come from? It comes from somebody else's intestines, specifically their colon. So it is fecally transported, meaning it's transported through poop or tiny, tiny particles of poop that somebody didn't get cleaned off their hands, and they've transmitted it somewhere else. So it can stay on a surface somewhere for 2 weeks and still be a contaminant. So think of things like the shelter floor, shelter bunks, the picnic table at the shelter. So all of that stuff is wood, organic. Anything's going to grow readily there, but it can stay there without any nutrition from anybody else and still be contagious for up to 2 weeks. Also think of things like where it's occurring is when people are sharing things. So obviously they're sharing all that at shelters, but they're also sharing their food bags. They're sharing their dirty water bags. They're sharing their filters. They're also sharing things like toilet paper. I can see people going, hey, I don't have any amount of toilet paper. Can I borrow your toilet paper? Somebody hands you their Ziploc bag with their toilet paper in it, and what happens? Somebody didn't clean their hands really well, and it's on the outside of their Ziploc bag, and now it's in the hands of somebody else. So that is how it is getting transported around. Not only that, it can occur in a hostile environment. So typically, if you're at a good hostel that's got good sanitary practices, they are cleaning with Lysol and bleach-related, chlorine-related products on a regular basis, cleaning the surfaces. But one thing that people don't think about is at the laundry. So if they're not using some type of laundry detergent that is chlorine-based, i.e. bleach-based, and a lot of them aren't, if they're not also using very, very hot water, and they may not be, just to save money, they are washing everybody's clothes together. The contaminants are flowing around, come out of people's undergarments. So think about all that, or don't even have to be undergarments. It may be a contaminated person that's got it in their sweat. So, you get it from somebody else, you touching their bag or touching something of theirs, then you put your hand in your mouth, a hand around your eyes, around your face, something like that. That's how it's getting transmitted from person to person. And so if they're not doing separate laundry, which they're not, in a hostel, then that can also be spreading it. So what's the difference this year? Well, first off, you usually, out in the general public, it's anywhere from November to April is when we typically have the noro season. But on trail, we usually see it around sometime in April. And this is not based on scientific evidence. This is just based on me and what I have for the past 5 years been bringing you information from the trail. This is what I have seen. So what occurs is the bubble bunches up there in the Smokies. And in the Smokies, they require you to stay in a shelter. If there's shelter space available, you have to stay in the shelter. And so now you got people that are forced to live in close proximity to each other. A lot of those shelter sites also do not have a privy. So they've just got a designated area that they call a toilet area. And so that's where you're supposed to go to poop. People go to poop there, and there's all these little toilet paper blossoms everywhere blowing in the wind, blowing around. But there's also, it's just not sanitary. And so what, there's, even if the privy's there, the privies, if you've ever been in one, they are not that sanitary. And so all those people are living in close proximity to each other in the shelters, and that's what is having a big reason to cause it. And what happens is typically it starts in the Smokies and it moves to Hot Springs. And again, in Hot Springs, there's several hostels there, people living in close proximity together. A lot of times it shuts down the hostels in Hot Springs because they have to sanitize everything. So I've seen where there's been a couple days in Hot Springs there wasn't any hostel availability because they were all cleaning their places. But typically this time of year, that's where the bubble is coming into or in close proximity to the Smokies, and so that's where it is. Everybody's all bunched up together. Also this year, the bubble has moved back some, so that could be a reason that why we're seeing it earlier. It used to be the bubble that people started a lot later in the year, and now there's more and more people starting earlier and earlier, trying to avoid black fly season up north, hot summer as much as they can up north, and so that's another reason that I think we're seeing it earlier. I have heard of it being as early as Hawk Mountain Shelter. So by early, I mean they've found that people that stayed in Hawk Mountain Shelter, that's where they got it from, or that's where they feel like they got it from. Hawk Mountain Shelter is 12 miles in from Springer. So that's like the second shelter, give or take, coming into the trail. So that is really, really quick. I have not ever heard of an outbreak down in Georgia, particularly this soon, and so the problem is now it's going to get worse and worse as it moves up the trail because now it's got more and more time to build up. So you need to be on the lookout for that as you're coming, looking out for other people that may be sick. So what can you do to prevent it, to prevent getting it? Well, one thing is don't share stuff. Don't share anything. If you don't have to stay in a shelter, don't stay in a shelter. Don't share food bags, don't share food, don't share utensils, don't share cook systems. Just don't touch anybody's stuff is the best way to avoid doing that. Wash your hands all the time. Before you even think about putting your hands close to your face or anywhere else for that matter, wash your hands, and you need to wash them for 20 seconds. So say your ABCs as you're washing your hands. Make sure you're using good soap. Just the alcohol wipes, they're not sufficient to do it. They're not going to kill it. Hand sanitizer will not kill it. It's got to be soap, and you've got to wash for like I said, a good 20 seconds. So not sharing, those would be good things. I know right now there's a lot of hiker feeds going on. There's a lot of trail magic going on. You'd be best to stay away from that kind of stuff. I know everybody wants that and they just love it. But if you go to Trail Magic or a hiker feed somewhere, they need to have a hand washing station that looks something like this. So it needs to have a readily supply of at least warm water, soap. The water needs to be flowing. You need to turn it on and turn it off with a paper towel, and just make sure that if they got chairs you're sitting in there, don't be touching the chair with your bare hands. Don't be taking fresh fruit. So somebody may have picked up that fruit, contaminated it, and put it back because it didn't like it had a rotten spot on it or something, and now you've gone and picked it up. So packaged stuff would be better, but again, you don't know who picked up a package and then put it back 5 minutes before you got there. So if they do have trail angels that are feeding you at these hiker feeds, make sure that they're doing good sanitary, they're washed up and everything. And obviously most of them are going to use paper plates and stuff. The only hiker feed or the only trail angel that I have come across, and I'm not saying there's not others out there, I'm sure there are, but the only one that I know of that has a proper hand washing station is Fresh Ground in the Leapfrog Cafe. And he is religious about making sure you wash your hands. Even before the COVID happened, he made sure that people wash their hands coming in there, but particularly went off during the pandemic. So if you come into where he's got his setup there, the first thing he's going to tell you to do is wash your hands, wash your hands. Won't let you touch nothing without washing your hands. And he's got the proper means and methods for sanitizing pots and your silverware that you use and all that stuff. So he's got a really good setup there. If anybody is safe, then I would say it's Fresh Ground. and the Leapfrog Cafe and other trail angels out there, I would suggest you not only to look at this this diagram right here, but go to the Leapfrog Cafe, go to the Facebook page, and you'll see his setup there, and look for that. It's separated out by itself, away from the food, away from everything else, and so that's the best setup that I have seen so far. Again, you need to be washing your hands, even if you have had it and your symptoms are cleared up and you're back on the trail, you still need to be washing your hands. And the reason is because that you are still contagious for up to 2 weeks after your symptoms are gone, so, or after you've recovered. So wash your hands, not only for your sake, but for the sake of some other hikers out there. You don't want to contaminate them. You don't want to contaminate the area around you that you're going to. If you get norovirus, or if you have the symptoms, you may not actually go somewhere where you have it actually documented that yes, you do in fact have the norovirus. So you may just go and wait it out in a hotel, and that's what a lot of people do. So the best thing that you can do is you start feeling bad, get off the trail. You've got to get liquids in you. There's not really any, it's a virus, so there's no medicine or anything that you can take. You can treat it over the counter. You're going to be sick for probably 48 to 72 hours coming out both ends. So you need to get in a hotel somewhere where you got your own bathroom. It needs to be a hotel where you're not going to have to worry about bed bugs. It needs to be a good hotel where they sanitize on a regular basis. And so that's where you're going to need to be to get there. So I would encourage you not to go to a hostel somewhere. Also, I would encourage you to go and do your own laundry somewhere. Don't mix your laundry in or let other people's laundry be mixed with yours. Use really hot water. Use some type of bleach detergent. They make bleach detergents, I'm pretty sure, that won't turn everything white. But it's got to be something that's going to kill the norovirus. So just regular detergent's not going to do that. Just regular stuff that you'd get, is not going to do that. So you need to make sure you got to use hot water. Dry your clothes on the hottest setting that they have. May shrink it up, but it's better to have shrunken clothes. You can make them bigger later, or you can get other stuff later than it is to get the norovirus out there. If you get the norovirus, you need to report that. So you report it to the local health department. The best way to report it is send an email to stomachbug@appalachiantrail.org. That's stomachbug@appalachiantrail.org. They are tracking it. They're trying to create information, trying to create data points, not only now, but for the future, so that they can let folks know. So please go and send that to the ATC there at stomachbug@appalachiantrail.org. That is something that they are doing for the hikers, and that is that's important that it get reported so we get those data points. But the biggest thing I can tell you is don't share stuff with folks right there. Eventually, it'll run its course. It does every year, and people will stop getting it. But one thing that you just need to be sure of is that throughout your whole hike, you're washing your hands on a regular basis. And I would say, because it can hit at any time, I would practice those like we did during the pandemic throughout the course of your hike. It's not going to hurt your hike, and you're still going to have a great time out there, and you're not going to be sick. Folks, that's all I got for this norovirus update. Put it out every year, but this year is particularly, it started early, and it's kind of unusual, so I wanted, instead of just rehashing it, go ahead and hit it again. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate you, and we'll see you out here.
Oh no.